deserve to have the best physical, mental, spiritual. Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. I am your host. We've been doing a lot of these shows every Monday night at 5:30. It's been a blast. We've got all kinds of super cool guests that I'm telling you, part of the reason why I do what I do and I invite guests to come on the show, and there's a lot of people have actually reached out to me to be on the show, is it's very educational. I've been learning a lot about reflexology and about, the mental side of things. And we've had guests on here, if you've been watching, that have been really awesome with what they provide, the information that they know. And again, I'm looking for holistic people and people that are kind of really big into understanding health and wellness and recovery and just things like that will help all of us in general, whether it's our everyday life, whether it's just preparing us to be at work and without any pain, things like that. Obviously, as a former athlete, I deal with some pain here and there, and I'm always seeking different sources and different areas of health and wellness and things, and obviously different services and products that help me personally. And that's what really Zealous Wellness is really all about. But I love to provide a lot of great information, not only for me, obviously, but for my guest. And today's guest, I'm going to introduce after a short commercial break. But I met her through a lot of Jaguar events. She's a huge Jaguar fan. And when I say huge, I mean she's going to be dressing up in her Jaguar print. She's got all kinds of costumes and things, face painting, things like that. But you'd never think, like her real job is something as serious as what I'll mention in a minute here. But she takes her job very serious, and she's very, very smart with what she does. And I'm telling you that the longest time that I've gotten to know her, didn't really know a lot about what she does in her real life. And when she finally told me and asked me really to kind of help out with the opening of her company, I was like, my gosh, I didn't realize you do all that. This is crazy. This is great stuff. And you'll understand why she does what she does, and really kind of where the name came from as well, which I think is super cool too. And it's a great fit for me because I'm actually partnered with her. And that I just released that just recently, officially, as far as my partnership with her and her company. And I look forward to doing a lot of great things with Miss Rebecca. And so with that said, we'll watch a quick commercial break. When we get back, I'll introduce you to Rebecca Morris.
It is possible. It's different this time. I'm showing up for myself because now I know that weight isn't about effort alone. It's not just calories in, calories out. For years, the world told us it was simple. Eat less, move more, try harder. But science has shown us it's more complex than that. It's a real metabolic condition. That's where GLP-3 comes in. Powered by MBC 267, a naturally derived peptide complex discovered in salmon from the Norwegian Sea and select mushrooms. GLP-3 works with the body's own system to help manage appetite and support metabolic balance. No fighting your body, no forced outcomes, just support where it actually matters. Because when you address the real factors at play, progress feels possible. I'm becoming the best version of myself. This is me and GLP-3.
So welcome back. So I have Rebecca Morris. She is a nurse practitioner and entrepreneur based here in Jacksonville, Florida. She's also the founder of Legends Health and Wellness, the name I'm going to talk about. She specializes in functional medicine, hormone optimization, weight loss, and performance-based health strategies designed to help patients feel and perform at their very best. She's known for her results-driven approach. Rebecca combines medical expertise with innovative therapies to deliver personalized care that goes beyond traditional medicine. She is passionate about helping patients optimize their health, longevity, and overall quality of life. Miss Rebecca Morris, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
How was your day today? I know you had a very busy day. I've been kind of communicating with you a little bit back and forth and getting you to, kind of, respond about the show tonight and everything. And
Right.
you're very, very busy. And how was the day today? What you got going on today?
Great day. I mean, I do a lot of different procedures. We work with umbilical cord stem cells, and I inject joints. I do exosomes into the spinal area, into the paraspinal muscles. I just got trained in doing Procaine IV, which helps with pain and inflammation as well, and it also helps calm the nervous system. So I do a lot of diagnostic ultrasounds and functional medicine. So all of what I do is what I did the first half of the day, and that's what I do every single day, actually. So
Okay.
it's pretty amazing. My oldest patient lately is 98. My youngest was 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the wide range of patients. What kind of issues do you deal with? What do you see on a daily basis typically?
A lot of pain, a lot of pain. Like my youngest is in sports, so I'm dealing with young injuries and trying to help prevent them to become old injuries. And then you have old injuries that you're trying to save people's lives that can't have surgery. A lot of people are not a surgical candidate. We don't really believe in having surgery unless you absolutely have to, and try everything else first, like regenerative medicine, before you have to have it. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so thinking like getting to the root cause, like not just treating
Yes.
the symptoms. Think about the functional medicine approach. Is that kind of what you're talking about there?
Right, because a lot of times patients, they haven't had recent lab work done, and if they have, they think they're fine, and they look at those numbers, and I always have to point out the reference ranges of labs are not optimized. You think your testosterone as a woman at 12 is within that reference range, but you feel awful. So it's not actually optimized. So those labs don't represent what you should be feeling, or, it's not normal. It's referenced to like 30 miles away from where you got your labs drawn. And it could be a 95-year-old lady, and that's her testosterone level. And a lot of people know that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
pretty
well, that's
interesting.
that's that's awesome that people like you are able to kind of educate all of us, and I'm including myself as well because I was, talking before is like this is very educational. I'm learning so much from all the guests, but in more detail, I'm actually partnered with you
Yeah.
as a legend in Legends Health and Wellness, and the term legends has come up. I don't know, maybe in the last 5, 8 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, from the former players of the NFL. Instead of calling us kind of like alumni or just former players, they refer to us as legends. I think it's kind of cool. And so I think Rebecca, being such a huge Jaguar and football fan in general, she come up with the term Legends Health and Wellness, which is a perfect fit for me as being a former legend as well, a former player as a legend. But I think it's awesome. And again, what Rebecca offers is stuff that former players can definitely take advantage of as well, because we definitely have a lot of pain and things that we deal with. Are you currently working with any other former guys, or I know that's kind of on your list of patients and people to service? Do you have any guys
Yeah.
you're working with now?
Definitely been working closely with Big John and his whole family, actually. So I took on the whole family. And he was one of my inspirations on why I started this in the first place. Just going to the Legends parties, seeing that he was in pain from an old injury from college, and, just seeing how I could actually help him. When you have a conversation with somebody, what is going on with you? Why are you grabbing your leg? What's going on? And then from there, it just kind of took off. You're watching football now. You're seeing him in pain. You want to help him, and then you're watching Monday Night Football, and Trevor's ankle gets rolled, and you're like, I want to help him too. That's an old injury if he doesn't treat that.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of putting it all together. When you're an owner, you can do whatever you can want to do to help people. When you're working for someone else, you're doing what they tell you to do. So I want to think outside the box and do whatever I can for my clients. And
Yeah.
that
That's awesome. You know, we were talking like pre-show. We're talking about how the current players are. It's a tough market there because the teams they've got these players are investments for them, and so they
Right,
do a lot of the treatment in house. So
right.
if there's ever an opportunity for them to reach out to a third party or something as far as needing help with any sort of rehabilitation, you're obviously jumping at the bits to work on some of the guys, I'm sure,
Sure.
because I know that your stuff is working. Tell me a little bit about your hormone optimization program for both men and women.
So I do different things. So I work with BioT hormones, and so what that is bioidentical hormones, and they're natural. So they're pellets. So I work with that. I work with women and men, a lot of women, and then you implant pellets into like the backside of the glute area where there's fatty tissue, and it lasts for women for 3 to 4 months, for men 5 to 6 months, and you can kind of set it and forget it. Now you're looking at labs and you're monitoring those and you're making sure you're guiding your patient's care. Like for men, for instance, have to go and they have to do a blood dump is what I call it. So they go give blood because testosterone can raise your hematocrit level, which is the thickening of your blood. So when you're doing hormone optimization, it's not just hormones. You're also managing the thyroid, which is a hormone. As well, and the vitamin D level, the B12, like the vitamin levels. You're doing a whole functional approach. I work with testosterone injections. I work with the creams, and so I also do some orals as well, but I specialize in pellet therapy.
Oh, very cool. I like that. Just place a pellet and kind of forget about it for a while because it's kind of doing its slow release and all that.
Yeah,
It's super cool. Obviously with hormones and things like that, people talk about like, with their hormones are imbalanced and their weights, fluctuating and maybe getting too large and all that as far as weight loss. Weight loss is a
right.
huge thing here in the United States. And again, of all of our listeners, they know the amount of times I bring up this whole, this idea behind, the big pharma being in the pockets of everybody, the government
Yeah,
it's a whole huge money scheme. It's all about, this greed that we have as American citizens. We're the wealthiest country in the world, but also the sickest country in the world. But we got
right,
big pharma that's very incredibly wealthy. You know what I mean? So
right.
going back to the whole weight loss part, what kind of services do you provide for your patients in the weight loss category?
So with the weight loss category, it depends on what they're looking for. So if I usually with the functional medicine approach, I can determine what I can help them with their diet. With nutrition is a big one, but then you can be eating the right things, but your gut is completely off. So you may need to do some gut health testing or GI mapping in order to, fix the gut, in order to eat the right foods, because you can put anything in your body. If something's off, it's not going to work. So I work with the GLPs. I work with oral weight loss medication as well, and we do peptides. We do like multitude of different things depending on what the patient's looking for. If they don't want to do an injection, then I got to think of a different route for them. If they don't want to do orals, they want the injections. So I just listen to the client, see what is going on, check their labs, and then determine what's the best fit for them, giving them multiple options to what'll work best, what won't work, and how fast would they expect to get it off. And I put it back into their hands. You got to be eating enough protein. You have to be eating the right nutrition. You have to actually move and exercise as well, strength training. So, and it's not a one magic thing that's going to do it. So they have to be on board. They have to be ready to do the work.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense because there's all kinds of issues that people have that you have to kind of focus on and kind of eliminate some other stuff and then find out, like you said,
Right.
finding the root cause. I'm big about that with my kicking. I
Oh
want to
yeah.
I want to find the root cause of the problem, not just focus on the problem itself, but I got to
Right.
find what caused that problem.
Right.
So, and you mentioned peptides. So I know there's a lot of different. I want our listeners to really understand peptides because they're
Sure.
sometimes they think a little negative about peptides because they've probably heard about Ozempic and all these other
Mhm.
companies out there that again are literally killing people. And I will say it because they are. There's a lot of stuff out there that is just crazy. Like you're putting snake venom in. Again, a conspiracy theorist in me is pulling these things out. But I mean, you never know. I mean, I don't trust the government anymore. I don't trust big pharma anymore. I really don't. It's hard because there's people like especially after the COVID, the vaccines and all these
Yes.
shots. A lot of things are happening. So really my question is, how can you settle anybody's insecurities about peptides? Give us the wide range of different areas that peptides help, and then
Okay.
how can you make them feel more comfortable about taking peptides?
So depending on the peptide, are you discussing like weight loss peptides, or you're talking about just peptides in
All
general?
together, yeah.
Okay. Well, like for instance, tissue repair and recovery, like BPC 157. There are multiple peptides right now that are considered research. You can actually do them. You just have to consent accordingly and work with the patient on them. That's one of them, but it's being taken off the list. The FDA kind of puts things back on the list that they don't want you to purchase because it works, and then they put it back, take it back off the list and say it's okay. So like BPC 157 helps heal tendons, ligaments, muscles, and gut repair. It does a bunch. It's a strong anti-inflammatory signal, so it's good for injuries, gut repair, and post-procedure healing. And then there's the Wolverine peptide called TB500, and that actually is for deeper tissue healing and chronic injuries, and helps actually make you more mobile. And so they work together as BPC 157 and TB 500 to be called the Wolverine peptide. So I actually have one of my younger kids that is in sports on it right now, because he can be faster in recovery, get back on the field, and it helps with all types of orthopedic complaints. And so there's multiple ones that you can do for skin. A lot of women love GHKCU because it helps. It's a copper peptide. It helps with collagen and elastin synthesis, and it can actually help with hair regrowth. So it's good for skin rejuvenation, hair loss, and post-procedure healing as well. And so they have blends that specific one can go with the TB500 and BPC, the Wolverine. You put them together so it can help with anti-aging, joints, and skin tightening, and your skin overall glow for that. There's even a tanning peptide called melanotin if you want to tan without the sun, so you're not getting the sun damage, and you can put patients on that as well. There's MOTS-C that helps with insulin sensitivity and enhances the fat metabolism, helps you have a ton of energy because it helps with metabolic dysfunction. And there's NAD, a lot of people know about that one. It's not a peptide, but you can use it in synergistically with other peptides. So that one is used for DNA repair, anti-aging, brain fog, fatigue. There's even some muscle growth peptides. There's one called follistatin that's very popular with guys trying to put on muscle. And it actually increases muscle growth potential. And it's for advanced body recomposition and muscle gain. That works really well. And then there's CJC 1295 and ipamorelin, and that is used for fat loss, recovery, anti-aging, helps with sleep, and recovery overall. And when you're looking for getting rid of visceral fat, which is the deeper fat around the organs, there's tesamorelin. Originally, they made tesamorelin for patients that had HIV, that had pot bellies. They were advanced AIDS, HIV, but they've seen that it works on other people. So they've used it now for abdominal fat and metabolic syndrome. And the more belly fat we have, especially as men, the more metabolic syndrome they have. And that's where men tend to store it. So that's a good one to help with that as well. There's even some with libido and performance that are safer to take versus Viagra and Cialis. To me, it acts on the melanocortin receptors, so it's not a vascular drug like the PDE5 inhibitors, which is like Cialis. It helps with men and women. So there's a product for men and women to help with arousal and libido as well. So there's so many peptides out there like that, and you can stack them all together to help someone. And that's what I love about peptides. It's natural. Your body actually recognizes it. So you're just stimulating this. Growth hormone's the same way. Like your body's recognizing it, and it's going. And you monitor labs too. So I'm going to send patients to get labs. If I have you on a growth hormone, I want to check them. I want to see how you're doing. I want to see, here's what you look like before. Here's what you're looking like now, and you can see a big difference over time. And I say peptides and hormone balancing together. You don't want to miss that puzzle piece. So it really just depends financially on what patients can afford. It's all affordable. It's just the FDA doesn't cover everything. It's like insurance doesn't cover everything. The FDA says that certain things they're gonna say, okay, you can use this, and that's covered by insurance. But it's like everything is, monitored by the FDA, but it's not covered under the insurance. So that's the toughest part. You have to tell patients your insurance does not cover everything, but it is affordable. It is affordable. So, and I try to make it affordable, as my clinic tries to make it affordable. Sometimes other clinics jack up the prices a little bit, but I want my patients to have access to affordable healthcare.
Yeah. Well, the thinking, speaking of peptides, it's becoming such a very popular thing that maybe there's some companies out there that want to capitalize on that, because it may not last for as long as far as this hype on peptides. And so when you think of, like, you brought up anti-aging, so all this kind of covers all this, and like peptides and hormones, would you consider them more like messengers within your body that kind of tell your body what to do and how to repair? And
yes.
Okay.
For
how does
sure.
that work?
It's like you're unlocking it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How does that work with the anti-aging aspect of that? Like, everything kind of just, it's
It
all
works
covered.
synergistically together, specifically like if you want to use the peptides for the skin, for instance, the GHKCU, like the women immediately they see that and they love it. And there's also skin products that have all this in there that you can put topically on the skin as well, so that you can inject it and you can use it topical. So there's some things you have to do with the topical layer, and then there's others that you just do with an injectable layer. So with the GHKCU, that's one of them. And that's a lot. You'll see that in a lot of products now, more of the copper peptides. Just people are tired of having things that are not natural that they can use. They want to use something natural that your body will respond to, that doesn't have all the parabens and all the things in it that are bad for your body, because so many things out there and just aren't. Your body doesn't respond to it. And then you're going to put yourself into having issues with insulin resistance. Actually, your body will absorb it and it'll be blocked. It won't work. So it's just a matter of so many things that when a patient talks to you during a consult, it takes like an hour. So, and then they start thinking of other things that they want to talk to you about now that they've said this. Oh yeah, this happens. So yeah.
And then you get the blood work after they've committed, and okay, we're gonna we want to see your blood work first, and then we're gonna, based on your blood work in the labs and panels, we're gonna actually come up with a plan that we believe is that kind of how it works?
Oh yeah. So a lot of times patients don't even know your liver's having this problem, your cholesterol's this, your thyroid's this. Oh, it's not optimized. And then you're really just I feel like a fireman, and I'm walking into a room and I'm putting out 5 fires, and I got to pick which one first. And a lot of times you can put out 2 or 3 at once, but if you don't put out those 2 or 3, you're never going to get to 4 or 5. So you have to really just step approach, step 1, 2, 3, 4. Some things you can do together, and you have to just tell patients to be very patient, that you're going to get them there. It didn't come on overnight. It's not going to come off overnight. So
I love that, because it's I'm recently a certified health coach, and I've dealt with people that have been a little impatient. I'm like, well, how long did it take you to put this weight on? Well, a few years. I'm like, okay, well, you see where I'm going with this? Just reverse that. It's going to take maybe a few years to get rid of it. So, but it's good that we have opportunities like this that will help the people's natural weights loss and so forth, not necessarily just based on the diet, but you can actually have, obviously, the peptides and other things that you offer will assist with that. Tell the body to do what it needs to do with the new nutrition that they're actually eating, instead of like the old crap they used to eat, right?
Yes. And then a lot of times I work with a chiropractor, so it's like I bring them certain chiropractors in town that I really trust, that I really like, that take care of my patients. I'll co-partner with other doctors to, okay, your spine's out of whack, your neck's out of whack, you're having this problem, you're having that problem, and that's affecting your gut. If you have a gut problem, you usually have a thyroid problem. So they go hand in hand. And a lot of times now, I believe patients are really waking up. People are waking up to what the gut does to us. And it does everything. It's your second brain. And we've known that for a while now, but they don't really put the pieces together. Do one of those GI maps and you'll see what's in the gut. And then I'm on the wrong probiotic, because I'm just throwing a dart at a dartboard. I'm taking this probiotic I bought on Amazon, and that's not the right one. It's not going to kill anything that you want it to kill. Yeah. So you work with them.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I see in a big picture sort of scenario is that people think, I'm going to go to the doctor and he's going to recommend these things for me. I got this problem with my blood sugar levels are off or whatever. I'm a little pre-diabetic or whatever, and I need some help. But
Yeah.
the thing is that they don't realize that just a simple blood lab
Hmm.
can tell someone like you, who's not a doctor per se, but someone like you who knows exactly what to do to help you out. And it's going to be a lot less expensive, and probably you're going to get better products through you, of course, because
Yeah.
doctors are going to recommend anything. They might get a cut of any prescriptions. They might get a little dip, a little cut of a little kickback on. So those are the kind of things that really upset me, because
Yeah.
they don't care so much about the patients in that scenario. They're really glued into what kind of profit they're going to make, which is really
Right.
upsetting. And that's why I really liked it. And you think about like these remedy guides, things that our grandparents and great grandparents used to do to cure headaches, and there's little natural things in life that had
Yes.
nothing to do with pharmaceuticals, because there wasn't really many pharmaceuticals out there at that time.
Right.
Um, they actually fixed their problems naturally, and I think we need to
Yeah.
get back to that stuff. And
Oh
you're
yeah, I
definitely
tell patients all the time this because, I look at the nutraceuticals, I call them, or just supplements that you can use. I don't want to go straight to prescribing. I want to try other things. If you're having anxiety, try L-theanine. L-theanine is a natural product over the counter that you can try for anxiety. If you're having headaches and migraines, you can try riboflavin and CoQ10 and magnesium threonate. Those three together can help you with migraines. So it's not a matter of let me go straight to give me a hydrocodone for pain. Let's try something else. It's the truth.
And one last question I do have about the quality of how they your patients would improve their energy, their sleep, and their mood, and their just the overall quality of life. And really, with all the services that you do offer, you do encompass all of that. So are you seeing your patients are just things? And again, one of the things, and again, this is a question for you, as far as like, have you had any patients really that have come to you and said, I'm experiencing things that I wasn't expecting to experience in a way, in a positive way, a sense.
Yeah.
Because usually we'll come in with some certain issues, and maybe, like you said, kind of forget. Oh yeah, by the way, I remember I have this now, or I used
Right.
to, deal with. So when you cover the gamut with regards to all the possible issues when you're dealing with your patients, do you find that there are people that have said, I feel great, and I wasn't even expecting, like my
Yeah.
sleep, for example. I didn't expect myself to sleep better on
Oh
these
yeah.
peptides or whatever. Yeah.
For sure, because overall inflammation
Mm.
causes a lot of issues. So I have a favorite one that I like to prescribe if it's a compound. See, I use compounding pharmacies, so I'm using natural products like naltrexone. Naltrexone helps with chronic inflammation at a very low dose. So it was originally actually created to get patients off of opiates in order to help stimulate the pain receptors in the same way without being an addiction, like a hydrocodone. So if you use something like that and it helps with chronic inflammation, then it's a different approach. If you're using a peptide and now you've lost weight and now you don't have inflammation, and I see fibromyalgia, oh, I had fibromyalgia, now I don't have that anymore. Oh, I was having skin issues and now I don't have that anymore. If you look up low-dose naltrexone, you can actually see it's a research website, and it's been around for 40 years, and it treats thousands of different issues because of chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation to me is the biggest issue in all of us, and you don't even know. It's people think, "Oh my God, I'm not inflamed. I'm not in pain." Well, you may not be in pain when you're inflamed. Your gut's having an issue. It's all on the cellular level, and so now it's gonna, arise in your eyes. You're gonna have eye issues. Okay, now you're having skin issues, autoimmune. We didn't have as many autoimmune issues as we had in the past, because nutrition, diet, exercise, all of that's changed. And so it's just getting back to the basics of what we need to get to and treat our bodies the way we need to. Stop being so stressed, get enough sleep. I prescribe sleep all the time. Sleep. And wear an Oura ring like this or a watch or something. Track your sleep. So you can get inflamed just based on that, not enough sleep. Just eating one or two wrong things. It's so easy to get inflamed. So it's just a matter of, monitoring your body, knowing what you feel, get your blood work checked, go visit, the practitioner, and get on a plan to where you can now be, happier and healthier overall, and that'll affect your skin being inflamed. So everything is inflammation. That's like the biggest thing I see, that and nobody sleeping.
Yeah, that's what I've learned as well. And I didn't realize how important sleep was. I was like, of course I was a football player. Like, whatever, I'll get a few hours of sleep, whatever, which I'm pretty cranky if I don't get enough sleep. But I've noticed, of course I'm learning a lot about how much, sleep helps as far as like, and other things like gut health. I didn't realize that was such a big deal. And a lot of the things that you're talking about are, when you find the root cause of the problem and you go in there with services and products and modalities, if you will, that actually focus on the root cause of the problems. Like I said, that you probably find that there's other things that you're healed with as well. Because of all. And
you start recovering more. You do.
Yeah.
Like a patient will come to you with an issue. They already think in their mind, they know what they want and this drug or what have you. And then you start talking to them about it and it's something else altogether. Or yes, it's that issue, but you got 5 more issues that we really need to tackle, because if we just deal with the one, it's not going to be enough. So you uncover, you just got to ask the right questions and do the right interview, and then check back and see, well, how are you now? What's still bothering you? And do regular follow-ups. And, as nurse practitioners, and when you were talking about doctors, right? So nurse practitioner starts as a nurse. And at the bedside, we're with the patient for 12 hours. We know exactly what's going on with the patient. Doctor comes in for 5 minutes. They rely on us. So as a nurse, I already knew everything that was going on. I just need to go back to school and get my degree so I could be the doctor. They call me Dr. Rebecca. I know I'm not a physician, but a nurse practitioner, we have 20 years experience behind us that doctors don't have when they go to med school and just train and go out. And so we can see all the different changes somebody can have in just one 12-hour shift, how they just progress and get worse. So you see what they eat, you see when they go to the restroom, you see every part of the person, and it all matters. So going off on a tangent here, but
well, I love that approach, because you just, you're trying to find the root cause of the problem to do the best you can for the patient. Yes. I don't think doctors, you ask a regular doctor about nutrition, they don't really know. They're very reactive. They're not proactive. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And I'm not into this whole I don't want to wait for a problem to happen before I can go, find somebody to help me with the problem. And usually the help that I'm gonna get from a doctor is going to be some sort of chemicals that they get paid off of. You know what I mean? So I want to be holistic. I want to treat myself naturally as best I can. And then the other thing too is, as far as the expenses, you talk about, well, it's affordable. Think about your health in 20, 30 years from now, when you're declining now. Think about what your health is going to be like then, if you're relying, again, I think it's the medical industry as it is now, with regards to what kind of things that they're feeding us, as far as pill forms and all the pharmaceutical junk, I'll call it, because it is most of it, that's causing other stuff. And so they got you committed for life, essentially, and you don't really progress. You're just, I think, pharmaceuticals that a lot of doctors will prescribe would be more like just like Band-Aids, or just the hydrocodone that you're talking about. That's doing nothing for you. It's just masking the pain.
Right. And just like the cholesterol medication, they can do more damage to you. And it's like, if you could just change it with your diet. And not everything is diet. Sometimes it is family history. Sometimes you do everything right. But those are not as much of the population as there is that we're causing our own thing. If we can just change our diet altogether and live healthier, yes, you're going to have your times. You're going to want some ice cream. You're going to want something. But it's okay if you get right back on the wagon and just continue to eat healthy and make it fun. It doesn't have to be miserable. Make it fun. And that's a society. We have all these fast food restaurants and just in general. But now people are now waking up more to the low sugar and the high proteins and the low carbs, and and just we're not getting enough protein. We just aren't. And when you tell people what they have to eat in their protein, they're like, I don't eat that much, or I don't hydrate that much. I don't drink that much water. So we're really just undernourished in the right way, and underhydrated, and not sleeping. And the biggest thing is stress, finding the balance in your life on stress, not working yourself to the bone, and then actually getting no rest. And go be with your family. Mindfulness, just sitting there, meditation is is the best thing you can do. You
Yeah.
know,
Drop that
just
cortisone level,
de-stress.
right?
Yes. Yes, because if you know what you're doing is causing all of this, then you know what to do to fix it. So that's where they have to come and get a consult so I can help them out.
That's right. That's right. So speaking of, where can my listeners find you? Where can they get some information from you?
Well, it's www.legendshealthandwellness.com. They can email me at info@legendshealthandwellness.com, and I usually get patient's name, date of birth, address, cell phone number, and send them an intake form where they can go over everything that's going on with them and some consents. We'll set up an appointment and we talk. I usually give an hour, sometimes more if they need it. It just depends. And then we'll follow up from there. And usually we'll be getting some labs if you haven't done them already. So I always have be prepared. Be prepared.
Do you offer the labs in-house, or you have to send them to a LabCorp or somewhere else?
Yeah, I can do them in house, but because it's fasting and early in the morning when we're doing it, I just tell them to go to LabCorp, and I'll offer like the small business discount that LabCorp gives me, so it's really affordable. Like usually, a full panel might be about 165, 175. It's not bad. Or I can run it through their insurance, and I can do it that way if they want to try to go that way. But some of the functional tests can be a little expensive through insurance anyway, so we just try to do it cash. It depends on the patient, and I work with you. Yeah.
Awesome. And
Oh,
of
yeah.
course, with all the listeners here as well, and anybody that goes through Zealous Wellness, if you request an appointment through Legends Health and Wellness using Zealous Wellness, if you just type in the code Zealous Wellness that you came from Zealous Wellness, you get 20% off your initial consultation. So take advantage of that offer as well. That was compliments of Rebecca. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for that.
Of course.
So that's great information. I love all the aspects and different varieties of things that you offer your clients. And I'm telling you, we need more people like you who understand what's going on in the real world. And I was going to bring up a point about the reason people don't eat a lot of protein lately and for a long time really is because that the food pyramid, the way it was back before we got it basically flipped upside down, it's exactly backwards is what it was before. And then, of course, protein was way down on the list. They wanted you to eat more grains and sugars and stuff like that. Cereal, even. Come on. How silly can you be? Are you kidding me? So it's flipped back to the right way, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of protein. I'll eat a lot of steak and chicken and things like that, and to get a lot of protein in. So I know that's very important. The other things I've learned in the recent, as far as the stress and the sleep. And gut health and all that stuff. So I'm a walking, absorbing billboard when it comes to information. I'm always wanting to learn what's the best thing out there. And I was blown away by a lot of the information that you expressed to me when we first started talking about this. I'm like, man, I didn't know she knew all this. All I know is you as a Jaguar fan with all the Jaguar print on your face, and they had different places, and different costumes you wear at these events, and. It's been a pleasure though, getting to know you guys and all the other guys, the Fitchers and Bobbies and all those guys that are part of the Jaguar community now, as far as getting out there and helping us out and doing stuff and events with us and so forth.
Yeah.
But again, so anything else you want to finish up with, and we'll get the show to an end here.
Yeah. Well, it's just been a pleasure really to work with everybody and help. Be a part of everyone's lives and be a part of these events, and how I got to know you guys, and just wanting to see so many people that you can be a part of their lives and help them get better. It feels good each time. It feels good when your clients just come to you with 80 pounds gone. They lost a whole person off their body. They're just living a better life, and any time where you can be a part of just changing somebody's life, even the smallest way. It just is so rewarding to me. And I got to remind myself to eat healthy, work out. I'm about to go to the gym right now, and just eat enough protein. And all the things I'm telling patients, I do it. I have to do it. I have to crack the whip on myself to get out there and do it.
Nothing more than just a simple lifestyle change. And yes. I've made that commitment, a few different times. I've kind of gotten away from it a few times, but now that I'm a health coach, I feel the same as you. I got to kind of I got to preach I got to do what I'm preaching, right?
Yes.
So it is definitely, it's good though, because I want to stay young and in shape and, reverse the clock
Yeah.
in sorts. But I mean, I know that the older I'm going to get, especially with my back, having 4 lower back surgeries and my shoulder kind of the way it is, I know that it's not going to get much better. I mean, it's not going to heal itself. And so I would need to, kind of maintain it and keep it from getting worse. And that's where
Right.
you fit.
Get some cells, get some exosomes in that back, you can, and some Wharton's jelly in that shoulder. I got a shockwave machine right here. Okay. And just as a matter of the bringing all the stuff into the clinic that I've done is because I've also suffered from all these things. I have back issues. I have a herniated disc. I have hormone problems. I've dealt with my weight. So anything that I brought in, I've actually suffered along with my clients. And then whatever they're suffering from, oh yeah, do you do this? Well, not right now, but now I am if you need me to. So now a new service. Let's do it. I don't want to turn anybody down. I tell them I don't do brain surgery. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's what I say.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, you're covering all the bases, and I commend you for that, especially with your knowledge. And even if you don't know a lot about a certain category, you're going to go and study that, and you're going to be available for your clients to answer those questions for them as well.
Oh, yeah, you got to level up. You got to level up to what people need. What's the point of doing this if I can't? Right? I love it. I love knowledge. I mean, you want to know everything, but you don't want to not know much. That's what I say.
Very good. Well, thank you again so much, Rebecca. I'll let you get onto your workout and enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll be talking with you later, of course, about the Legends Health and Wellness and see where else we can take it.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. This is fun. Thank you.
Rebecca. Well, after another Monday night on Zealous Wellness, we've had an amazing guest as well, and we'll definitely see everybody again next Monday night at 5:30 on Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. I love you all, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.
Thank you for watching Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.